This is a tutorial on finding slope from a graph, table, and 2 points. Our first few examples will be on a graph. So to find slope from a graph, you're going to use the formula rise over run. The first thing you want to do is locate points on your line that cross exactly as a T or at a T, or easy to read points. So as I'm looking at my graph, I notice that this point right here crosses right on a T. I can easily read that point as being the point -2, 1. So I'm going to find some other points that cross exactly on a T. So here's another one. I see one right here, and I could keep going. Now that I have some points marked, I'm going to go ahead and draw in my step. So to get from this point to this point, I'd have to go up, there's my rise, and over. Here's my run. So now I'm going to count. I had a rise of 2, I went up, so I put +2, and I ran 1. I went in the positive direction 1, so +1. So I can go ahead and plug that into my formula, rise over run. I had a run of a rise of +2, a run of 1, and now I need to simplify that. 2 divided by 1 is 2, so I have a slope of 2. And you could keep building your steps all the way up where we see that rise of 2, run of 1, rise of 2, run of 1, rise of 2, run of 1, and you could keep going all the way. So this is an example of a slope of 2. Now this line is increasing. If I read this graph to left to right, it's going up. Or if I were to ride my bike up this hill, I'd be going uphill, so I have a positive slope. Here's another example. In this example, we see our x and our y axis. And again, I need to find 2 points on my line, at least 2 points that are easy to read points across exactly at a T. So I can see right here, this is an easy to read point. It crosses exactly at a T. Let's see if I can find another one. Here's one right here. So I'll go ahead and draw in a step. Now this step I'm going to put below my line. Now to get from this point to this point, to get from there to there, I'm dropping 2. I'm going down towards the negative. So I'm going to put -2 as my rise, and now I'm running. I'm going in the positive direction, so I have +1, 2, 3. So I plug that into my formula, rise over run, and I have -2 was my rise, my run of 3, and -2/3 can't be simplified, so there's my slope. And again, you could keep drawing in a step. I could go from here to here, down 2, run 3, down 2, run 3, and I keep finding those easy to read points. I could go backwards, over 3, up 2. But I see those steps all the way. So this has a slope of -2/3. This slope is negative because my line is decreasing. If I were to ride my bike down this line, I'd be going downhill. Read it left to right. Now this is a third example. This is my line down here that I need to find the slope of. Now this line is just a horizontal line, and I need to find the slope of this. I could pick any points here, any points on this line where they cross at a T. So I might pick this point right here and this point right here. Now obviously I can't make a step. I'm just going to draw a straight line here. Now let's talk about a rise. To get from here to here, I have a rise of 0, but I'm running 1, 2, 3. 3. 0 divided by 3 is going to be 0. So this line has a slope of 0 because it's completely flat. There's no steepness to it. So, and if I were to ride my bike on this line, it'd be really easy to ride because there is no steepness. So this one has a slope of 0. Now, this next example, here's my x and my y axis. Here's my line. And I need to find the slope of this line. So again, I pick 2 points at a T. I'll pick this one and this one. Connect them. Okay, how much of a rise do I have here? Well, let's count. I've got a rise of 1, 2, 3, 4. A rise of 4 and a run of 0. This is 4 divided by 0. Now let's think about this. What's any number divided by 0? Can't happen. So this line actually has a slope that's something called undefined. We can't do it because think about it. You could never ride your bike straight up a line like that. It can't happen. It's impossible. So this slope is undefined. Now that's what we have for finding slope from a graph. Let's say you have to find slope from a table. To find slope from a table, you're going to use the formula, your difference in y divided by difference in x. It's still like rise over run because y rises and x runs, but this is the formula we're going to use for a table. So here's my table over here, and first I'm going to find my differences in x and then my differences in y. So I'm going to look at my x's. From 3 to 1, I'm dropping 2, so I put minus 2. From 1 to negative 1, dropping 2. Negative 1 to negative 3, dropping 2. So my x has a difference of negative 2. Now let's look at my y's. Negative 14 to 10, dropping 4. 10 to 6, dropping 4. 6 to 2, dropping 4. So now I'm going to plug this into my equation. Difference in y is negative 4. Difference in x is negative 2. And now I got to simplify this. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 ends up being positive 2. Because a negative divided by a negative is positive. If I were to graph this, my line would be going up because it has a positive slope. Okay, here's another example of a table. Now this table is a horizontal table. And I'm going to do the same thing. Differences in x, differences in y, and then plug it into my formula. So from negative 7 to 2, that means that I have a rise of positive 5. Let me move that down a little, make sure you can see it. Negative 2 to 3, positive 5. 3 to 8, positive 5. Now let's look at my y's. Negative 8 to 2, well that's a difference of positive 10. 2 to 12, positive 10. 12 to 22, positive 10. So now I'm going to put that in. Remember, y over x, y over x. So I've got 10, my difference in y was 10, my difference in x was 5, 10 divided by 5, there's my slope of 2. Same as the last example. So again, that would be a line that's increasing, it'd be going up. Okay, last thing we're going to cover is 2 points. When you're finding the slope from 2 points, you're going to want to use this formula right here. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And it's very, very important that when you're doing this, label your points so that you don't make any mistakes here. So this is my first set of coordinate points, so I'm going to label this. X is first, y is second. So x1, y1. This is my second set of coordinate points, so I label it x2, y2. Now I have them labeled, so it's just a matter of plugging them into the equation. My y2 is 2, minus my y1, which is 1, over my x2 is negative 4, minus my x1, which is 8. Now we simplify. 2 minus 1, 1. Negative 4 minus 8, negative 12. And I can't reduce that any more than that, so it's just negative 112. Let's move on to our last example. 6, negative 3, 1, 9. Again, we're going to use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I got to keep stressing this. Label the points first. This is your first set of coordinate points, so I've got x1, y1. Second set, so x2, y2. I've got them labeled, so it's real easy just to plug them in now. My y2 is 9, so I go 9 minus, now be careful here, my y1 is negative 3, so minus a negative 3, over x2 is 1, so 1 minus my x1, which is 6. Now I've got to simplify this. When you have a minus a negative, it becomes plus. 9 plus 3 is 12. 1 minus 6, negative 5. Now you could leave this negative 12 fifths, or you might reduce it to negative 2 and 2 fifths. Or you might just say negative 2.4 is the decimal. Either one of these would be acceptable answers. Okay, this has been our tutorial on finding slope from a graph, table, and 2 points. You can rewind to see any parts that you need to see again. Thanks for watching.